and welcome to the Miki's Maths Adventure board game. My name is Phoebe Higginson and I'm the designer and creator of Miki's Maths Adventure. In this video, I'll explain the rules and show examples of gameplay and talk a little bit about the educational aspects of the game. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Inside the box, you'll find the 2 game boards, 6 coloured adventure pieces, 1 sun token, 1 plus and minus 6-sided dice, 2 10-sided dice with the numbers 0 to 9, 1 shaker cup, and 6 adventurer character cards. There are 2 ways to play this game. There's the classic version and the cooperative version. I'm going to talk about the classic version first, so we don't need the sun timer board and the sun token. A classic game can be played with 2 to 6 players, and the aim is to be the first player to reach the treasure at the end of the path. Each player starts by choosing a coloured piece that they'd like to be and placing it on the corresponding colour at the beginning of the board. Players can then also take their corresponding character card. So once you're all set up, the youngest player can start by rolling the 3 dice using the shaker cup to make a maths equation. A good tip is to put the largest number first, followed by the plus or minus dice, and the smallest number last. Once you've solved the equation, you can move your adventurer piece the number of spaces matching the answer. I've got 7 minus 4, which is 3, so I can move my piece 3 spaces. If you land on a normal space like me, then your turn is over and the next player clockwise begins their turn. You might encounter some special spaces along the way. If you land on an odd or even space, which is the blue spaces here, then you get to roll the numbered die again. And if it matches, so if I roll an odd and I'm on an odd space, I get to move a bonus 7 spaces. Same rule applies for an even space. If you land on an even space and the number you roll is even, you get to move that many more spaces. If you land on a shortcut, you can move your adventurer along the footprints to the end. Another special space that all players will encounter is the dragon's lair. When you arrive at the space marked stop, you must stop, even if it's in the middle of your turn. On your next turn, if you roll a 10 or higher, then you have successfully sneaked past the sleeping dragon and you can immediately jump forward to the green escape space. However, if you only roll a 9 or lower, you can only move 1 space. This special rule continues until your player reaches the escape space and then play continues normally to the end. Finally, the first player to reach the treasure space at the end is the winner, and you can roll a larger number than needed to reach the final space. For a cooperative game, you'll need the sun timer board and the sun token. You do not need the character cards for a cooperative game, but you can keep them out on the table if you wish. Just like a classic game, the cooperative game can be played with 2 to 6 players. The objective is to get all of your adventurers to the end before the sun timer gets to the bottom. All classic game rules for special spaces apply, so that includes odd and even spaces, shortcuts, and the dragon's lair. To set up the game, you first need to decide what difficulty level you would like to play. The game ranges from easy to hard, depending on how many adventure pieces you choose to play with. For an easy game, choose any 2 adventure pieces and place the sun token on the first green sun space. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can start the sun token on the second green sun space. The lower down the sun token is, the harder the game will be. For a medium game, choose 3 or 4 adventure pieces. And for a very challenging hard game, choose 5 or 6 adventure pieces. So once you've selected your chosen difficulty, you can place your adventure pieces on their starting colours and the sun token either on the first or second sun space. Similarly to the classic rules of the game, start with the youngest player and you must roll all 3 dice to form an equation. Don't forget to put the biggest number first, followed by the plus and minus dice, and the smallest number last. Once you've solved your equation, in this example 7 plus 1 is 8, you can then choose to move any piece you want on your turn. You can discuss with your teammates which piece you think you should move in your turn. For example, this one is 8 spaces away from a shortcut. This piece is 8 spaces away from an even space, and this piece is lagging behind. So you need to discuss with your teammates which piece you think is the best one to move on that turn. Don't forget, you are working as a team to get all these pieces back to the treasure before the sun timer runs out. On your turn, if you roll a 0, you're not allowed to move and the sun timer goes down 1 space and your turn is immediately over. However, if you roll 2 zeros, the sun timer moves back 1 space and your turn is over. If you get an equation that equals 0, this doesn't count. The sun timer doesn't move and you don't move either. If the sun token reaches the end before all the adventurers are safely in the treasure space, then unfortunately your team has failed. There is one special rule that can only be used in the cooperative game, and that is the bring a buddy rule. Each time a player moves an adventure piece past another adventure piece, they can bring that buddy along with them to their final space. For example, if I get to move 10 spaces, I can choose to move purple. And because I've passed these 2 adventurers, I can choose to bring one of them along with me to my final space. I can only choose one, I can't bring them both, so I'm going to bring red with me to my final space. The buddy can come along with the player on all shortcuts and escapes from the dragon, but not on bonus spaces earned on an even or odd space. So if my final space was the even space here, and I roll an even number, only one can move the extra bonus spaces. So be sure to get all your adventurers to the treasure before the sun token reaches the end, and your teammates will be victorious. This game is a fun way for children to learn early maths skills by practicing adding and subtracting numbers 0 to 9. This helps to improve mental math skills and children can get quicker at adding and subtracting in their heads. Children can also practice recognising odd and even numbers. This game can be played from as early as 5 years old, and because of the different difficulty settings, it grows with children as they do. An average game lasts for about 30 minutes and is perfect for families and classrooms. Thank you for checking out Miki's Maths Adventure. I hope you have fun playing this game. If you have any questions or comments, then check us out at phoebehigginson.com.